going to be a little bit of a different type of video. We're doing more of an introduction here. You guys can get to know us a little bit better, who we are as people, what got us into cars, that sort of deal. This is also a great excuse for me to try out these new microphones we got, because I've noticed a lot of our videos, the wind noise or the cars in the background kind of get picked up. I ordered these, they're wireless. I'm hoping that we can use these in future videos so that way the audio quality is a little bit better.
What got you into cars?
As far as what got me into cars, for the longest time, I had zero interest in cars. I was the guy in high school that you could say, oh, it's a Ferrari or it's a Lamborghini, and I'd be like, all right, cool, if you say so. I just had zero interest whatsoever. For the longest time, I didn't think Japanese cars were made quality either. So obviously that's changed. I remember in college, there was a time that I borrowed my roommate's car to go grocery shopping, and I pull into the parking lot, you know, trying to turn off the car won't turn off, and I had to call him, and I was like, hey man, your car won't turn off, what the hell's going on? And he's like, but is it in park? And then I had to just sit there in silence for a minute, shift it to park, and then turn the car off. Because that's how little I knew about cars. It was just a few years back, and obviously we've grown a lot since then.
What interests you about working on cars?
Although my whole life, I've really enjoyed taking things apart and putting them back together, and that's by and far the best way that I learn. Taking apart cars and putting them back together just seemed to coincide with how I learned best. Gave me a hobby during COVID. It was interesting because I've really only been into cars for about 2 years now. That, and when I had a car, I took it to a shop to get the brakes pads put on and the brake rotors done. And it cost me over $800. I was like, there's no way I can do this at home. I'm like, I can watch a video, I can learn how to do this. There's no way in hell I'm paying $800 ever again to do this. And since then, I've done brakes left, right, and center. I mean, people come to me and ask me to put on their brake pads for them because it's such an easy job and it doesn't really require all that much. So rather than spending, you know, $400 or whatever for just the brake pads, they can spend the 50 bucks, bring them to me, buy me lunch, and I'll put them on your car. So that's kind of how I got into it. And now I'm known around my friend group as like one of the car guys. So I don't know, it's just fun. It gives me something to look for when I'm on the road too.
What kind of cars and era of cars do you like most?
My sister made a comment while we were driving a while back. She's like, it must be so nice to be you, because we literally will just go for a drive and it's like an adventure for you. You just get to see what kind of cool cars are out there. And I like old boxy cars. I like real like 80s cars that are kind of boxy and gross looking. Like, that really gets me going, if you know what I mean.
What cars have you owned?
So far in high school, I leased a Jetta, and that was just a base model, just get me from point A to point B. I gave it back after the 2 years. I was like, at that point, still so uninterested in owning a car. And COVID hit and everyone was kind of at home doing nothing. And I was, you know, finally succumbed to it. I was like, I'll download TikTok. And I saw some videos of the little pop-up headlights. I was like, that's the one. That's the one. And this is the one, you know. I went in and I did it, and no complaints, man. It's fun. But I've owned the Jetta. This was one of the first cars I ever purchased myself outright. I got the 84 GTI. That one was actually free. It's been in the shop for about a year now. I'm hoping to get that one back soon, and then I can make some more content on that one. I got the Ford Ranger, which is right behind you in the camera. Got the MG just sitting over there.
What do you like most about working on cars?
I enjoy just working on it. Creative problem solving. It just kind of scratches that itch as far as figuring out how things work. Plus, ever since I was a little kid, I enjoyed working with tools. I would be like 1 or 2 and go to my grandpa's house and just pick up his tools, and I was just running around with tools, hand tools all the time. When I was like a preteen, I would be like sharpening his axes because I just liked working with my hands, working with tools. I'll never be a mechanic. at least not in the I work for a shop sense. I would love to have my own shop space and get to work on cars on a lift and not have to crawl under these all the time, but I won't do it for money. I'm doing it for me.
What do you do when you're not working on cars?
As a day job, I just work at Harbor Freight, which is actually a great job and a great place to work. And I get a pretty fat discount on tools, which has helped a lot. I was using a bunch of legacy tools, a bunch of hand-me-down Craftsman. There were like 25 teeth in this ratchet. And then I finally went and bought the nice stuff, and it's got 90 teeth and it glides, and it's just so much better.
Do you have any formal training?
I have no formal training though, so you can believe that every time that I'm looking up, how to do something, it's for one of these cars because I don't know how to do it. I don't ever claim to be something I'm not.
Why did you start SlowmoCo?
And this channel was never intended to be like a how-to channel because there's so many better people you could be watching than me to do that. What I've noticed and what I want from this channel is just to show that if I can do it, you can do it. Cars are not that hard. And if you have a goal in mind for a car or something that you want to do, you can achieve that. The biggest thing for me that I've seen on a lot of different car YouTube channels is skipping sort of the middle portion. They show the beginning and they show the end, and everyone's so impressed with the product and like, oh wow, that's you made it look so easy, because they didn't show the struggles. When we started this, I was like, I would like to show the struggles. That's the biggest thing that I want to do. I want to show that it's not easy to work on cars, but it is worth it. And no matter what kind of setbacks you have, you can always overcome them if you're creative and you have the right tools.
What is the end goal with your car?
And so as far as this car goes, like I said, this was the first one I ever purchased, and it means a lot to me even still. It's still super fun to drive. I would, of course, like to own other cars at some point in time, but I have a grand idea as far as what I want this to look like. And right now it's wrapped. It was wrapped from the previous owner. He did a really pretty crummy job, honestly. He didn't, even clean it before he wrapped it, so there's bubbles in it and a bunch of paint incorrections and things of that nature. So eventually I'll peel back the wrap. I believe it was a Mariner blue, something like that under here. It's a nice color, but I still would like to repaint it. Big vision is to finish putting on these, kit parts. I'd like to wide body it and then want to get it all painted white. And then I want to have white cherry blossom, like Sakura livery along the sides. And the inside, I want to do white diamond stitching on the inside, the Sakura cherry blossom prism seats, and just change out the interior a bit to make it look and feel more with that theme. I have an underglow kit that I'll put on there that's going to be glowing pink, fit with the theme even more. And then I got a video coming up as far as changing the timing belt, radiator, thermostat, water pump, etc., and all the gaskets on here. So I'm going to take off the valve cover gasket and I'm going to paint that one as well. I think I'm going to get it all down as far as I can, and then I'd like to paint it white with the cherry blossoms to again fit with the theme. That's why I got new radiator hoses as well that are going to be white. I've got a lot planned as far as what this car is going to look like and feel like, but it's just finding the time.
What projects do you have coming up?
I also have a LSD that I picked up for about 300 bucks. The diff hanger is broken, and so I'll end up taking mine completely off, separating the hanger from differential itself, and then mounting the LSD in there. But in order to do that, I've got to take out the exhaust, take out the drive shaft, take out the axles, remove the thing, put it together with a seal, wait 24 hours for that to cure, and then put it all back together. So again, a lot of big projects here.
What are some cars you want to purchase in the future?
Like I said though, I used to not like Japanese cars. Now I like Japanese cars a lot. I actually really like Mazda in particular. I have the Ranger that you've seen, we've worked on quite a bit, and love the Ranger, but at the same time I almost want to do a Mazda B series, because then I could have the Mazda truck, the Miata here, and then one of my cars that I'm going to be purchasing here in the future is going to be a FB RX-7. I love the FB. I know it's, kind of slept on as far as RX-7s go. And the other cars that I own, the GTI, that one's special to me because my dad's first car was a Rabbit, so it feels like a generational thing. He and I are doing that one together. And then the MGB, my grandfather's first car, like I said in one of the previous videos, was the Austin Healey Sprite. So he saw that one come up on Facebook for $2,000 and was like, I want it. And I was like, okay, we'll make it happen.
What are some issues that you've run into with the MGB?
So we're still making progress on that one little by little, but it is slowing down just because it's a lot of stuff that, again, I have no idea how to deal with. And up until this point, I've only dealt with fuel injected cars. So this is my first carburetor that I'm dealing with. And it's proving to be difficult. Not too difficult to handle, but I have to do a lot more research than I normally would. And there's a lot of things that I'm not familiar with, especially on British cars.
What are your goals with making content in the car community?
But I just want to show people that it's not easy, but it's fun. It's possible. I can do it, you can do it, sort of thing. I would love to like become a name that's recognized. I would love to go to things like SEMA. I would love to like do collaborations with other up and coming car people because I think that's super fun.
What makes your content unique?
We have different interests, Brian and I, as far as what we want to accomplish. Like I just want like a very cool show car, and Brian obviously wants very drift focused. He's going to have a video here coming shortly that's going to talk about his goals, his expectations, and what he wants. And this is going to compare and contrast us as human beings and creators. Be on the lookout for that one. Ultimately, the both of us just like cars, and we want to share that passion of cars through our mistakes mainly, because we do make a lot of mistakes. But that's half the fun of it is, okay, I messed up, how do I get out of it? And we're figuring that out every day, every time we work on cars. I don't know, I have fun with it, and we hope you guys have fun with it as well. But ultimately, that's my introduction. If you got any more questions for me, throw them in the comments. I'll be sure to answer them. Anyway, we appreciate you guys watching as always, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.